聊你想聊，非常有料。欢迎来到赛默飞非常有聊，我是 Sandy。今天我们非常荣幸的请到了赛默飞中国区的总裁 Tony 来参加我们首期的非常有聊节目。Hey Tony, welcome to our show.
Sandy, it's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, this is our show called 非常有聊. This show meant to really invite our, Thermo Fisher China leadership team to join us to provide their insights and a career experience. Definitely, you're our first guest.
I'm very humbled and feel very proud to be able to share some of my perspective with everybody. So thank you.
Thank you. So Tony, before you join our show, actually we asked you to prepare 3 photos, right?
Yes.
Do you bring them up?
I did.
Can you show us? Because we really want to know your journey of becoming you, Tony, at this moment.
No, thank you. I did bring 3 photos that I have here, which I'll show you. So the 3 photos that I bought really 3 stages in my life. So the first photo is my younger self. That's the one there.
Wow. How old were you at that time?
Right. So here I was 9 years old.
Okay.
I have hair, which is different.
Well, you said it. I didn't say. I noticed.
So I bring this photo because it was a time in my life where I really acknowledged, the effort that my parents were making to bring up, myself and my 2 sisters. And that time in your life when, as a kid, you don't really understand the work and the effort that goes into the day-to-day. And I remember thinking, wow, my dad works long hours and more than one job. And I thought, wow, this is why I don't see him often, because he's working hard to make ends meet and to keep the family going. And equally, my mother, working 2 jobs and doing the same. But it was this time in my life when that hit home for me. So interesting time.
Wow, that's like the first time you really think about what's going on in life.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you show us the second
photo? So 2 other photos.
Yeah.
The next one is my bit older.
Wow, that's very slim time.
Yeah. Thanks, Eddie. Thank you very much. I'll take that as a compliment. Here I was a lot slimmer. Here I was 21 years old. And again, another time in my life where you just turn and you become more mature, right? And so I remember that age very vividly, and a lot of the things I was thinking about, which was around, what am I going to do with my life? What's my career going to look like? What job do I want to work? And a lot of the things my family instilled in me in terms of working hard, and were coming through here at this point in my life. And so, yeah.
Wow. That's good. Let's see the third one.
The last photo is a milestone which ties, I guess, to the last point, which is, working hard required, education. Right? So this is a photo of me graduating and getting my degree for chemistry. And so it was a special time. And I remember I worked to get this degree part-time while working full-time. So that was a difference versus the friends who went to university and did the 4 years. I went straight to work and did the degree part-time.
Wow. So it must be a difficult time, but you finished it.
Yeah, it was challenging to work and to go to school, but I got there in the end. So.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Fast moving, you're our China president, and before you joined China team, certainly you've been heading Australian office and a Korean office. What kind of experience you're leveraging, with your multi-countries experience as head of the office?
Yeah, so firstly, I think I'm fortunate. I'm very thankful to have someone in my career that's trusted in me and given me more responsibility. And I've been fortunate to work in Australia, in leadership positions in South Korea and here in China.
Yeah.
And I think every region has been different, but the one thing that's not different, and the one thing that is consistent throughout any leadership role that I've had so far, is that surround yourself with the best people and dedicate yourself to investing, developing, and inspiring them to overachieve. And if you do that well, I think everybody's successful, and that has been the case in every role.
In all the countries.
I've been fortunate, as I say, to work in 3 countries. But I think for me, the one thing that stands out is here in China, in this role, which is a much bigger role than I have had in the past. But what amazes me every day is the perseverance, the resilience of the China team. The Thermo Fisher China team, by far is a team that is so dedicated to not just realizing our mission, but every interaction with customers and with themselves. The collaboration that happens as one Thermo Fisher. This team is amazing, and the market is equally amazing. It's entrepreneurial, and there is a huge opportunity for our value proposition. So bringing the two together has been, an amazing experience.
Wow, thank you. So another thing, because always curious to me, right? Because Tony, you just didn't get the presidency in one day, 1 year. You started from career projection, right? So when is your first time you took on a GM role? Do you remember when was that?
Yeah, actually, that is a very, very vivid time in my life, because it was another turning point. And in every turning point that I've had in my career, I can attribute it to the manager, the leader that I had at the time, just trusted and took a risk as well, right? So it gave me additional responsibility. And I remember my first GM role, it was on December the 20th, 1999.
Oh my,
and,
you remember that nicely.
It was an important time. It was for me something that I've been striving to achieve. I remember when I got given the opportunity, I had this overwhelming excitement and fear at the same time.
Where was that?
This was in Australia. This was with a company that we were working with at the time, before Thermo Fisher acquired the company. The company was called Biolab, and I was the general manager of Australia and New Zealand. I had a team of only 65 people.
Oh, can you imagine right now?
Exactly. 65 to 5,000 is a big leap, but 65 people meant I now had the responsibility of 65 people, and that's the way I took it. I remember feeling excited, like I just won the lottery.
Yeah. Oh.
And then I got home that evening, and I had this huge fear that I had to look after 65 people and make sure that that they were successful, supported and safe. As my philosophy, I have 3 S's that I have to make sure that I think about, which is safety, support, and success. And that included the 65 people. So it was a big responsibility at the time.
You mentioned about fear, right? Certainly when you suddenly become a GM for 65 people, but how you overcome the fear? Because eventually you're going to really bring the team to the next levels that your manager had an expectation for you, right? Yeah,
it's a good question. How you overcome fear? I think in my case, I've never overcome the fear. I always have a fear of either being too complacent or feeling as though you're there and there's no further you can go. And so that fear of failure, as I said earlier, is something that will always be there. And so I don't look to get rid of it. I actually use it to feed myself, to make sure that I'm continuing to look at things from different angles. And also making sure that the team, my leadership team, is doing the same and feeding back up into the team what their ideas, what their thoughts are, because really that's where I see success happen, is when everyone has a voice.
I think we had a lot of questions, right? And thank you for sharing. I do have a last question, actually. What's your general advice to our employees how to have a successful career?
So, based on my experience, I think there's 4 things that I think you that you can focus on to ensure, success. The first one is, throughout at least my career, I've always had a manager or a person that has taken a chance on me. So look at the past leaders you've had, the mentors that you've had, and pick the 2 or 3 things that you think you've learned the most from them, and apply them.
Yeah.
Equally, conversely, what are the 2 or 3 negatives that you saw that didn't work, and make sure you don't do those things. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing is decide what type of leader you want to be, right? And decide that, and stick to it. Because it's during the tough times when you have to reflect and say, what leader am I?
Yeah.
And you should be able to then stick to that, because it's in the eyes of others during tough times is when you're truly measured. So, decide what type of leader you're going to be and stick to those values. I think the third thing is surround yourself with the best people, and then be really focused on making them successful. So, the 3 S's in terms of making sure they're safe, supported, and successful is part of that philosophy that I have. But make sure you surround yourself with the best people is the third one. And I think the last one is put yourself in other people's shoes and have the level of empathy that you need to have as a leader. And never forget that. I think no matter what time, tough times or non-tough times, stick to that.
Right.
I think they're the 4 things that come to mind.
Thank you, Tony. That's a very, very impressive, because there's a lot of things to digest. So I think right now it's a happy ending of our show. Thank you.
It's been great to talk to everyone on this segment. Thank you to all.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Use 3 words to describe yourself in teenage.
Teenage years, I would say shy, ambitious, and family.
What are the items in your briefcase daily?
In my briefcase, my lucky charm, my power pack, and my business cards.
What's your favorite summer activity?
That's easy. It's spending time with my family on an Australian beach.
If you could be an animal, what would it be?
Well, I think I would be a monkey, agile and a bit silly.
What's the strangest food you've ever eaten?
Wow, strangest food I would say is a witchetty grub, which is an Australian worm.
If you could trade lives with anyone for a day, what would it be and why?
Wow, it would be trade lives outside of my wife. I would say Albert Einstein, for the obvious reasons.
Where would you go if you were invisible?
I think I would go into my boys' classroom just to see how they're going.